everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, December 11, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a they run into each other at times, a time for change call at after 9:15 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to talk about the money, and we're going to talk about the infrastructure, just to name a few things. A great kind of a mantra. It's kind of like a meditation. May all beings be free from danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings know peace. Om. Something that I use a lot to increase vibrational frequency for the entire civilization. How did the rose ever open its heart and give to this world all of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. That was from Hoffitz. It all is connected. It is directly connected with our intent through heart-mindedness to change whatever we choose to change. And see, that practice is, it's been around for a long time, obviously. But the crucial introduction to it is all of us being firmly satisfied with ourselves, heart-mindedness, that we have 100% faith, trust, and confidence in ourselves and this universe. Now, the reason, if you were to look around as a watcher, observer on this planet, the reason that is because of the variances in information. And the information, as we all know, comes in many different forms. Now, we either choose to go, oh, forget that, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Or we take a second look and give it more time. Now, obviously, the more time we give something, the more it becomes our reality. It has nothing to do with, what's actually happening out there. Because that's a combination of many variances of the civilization on how they're thinking, what they're thinking, where are they focusing their power? Where is it? Where are they focusing it? Let's just say the American people, where are they focusing their power? Is it worry? Is it fear? Is it fear-based? Is it worry about World War III? Is it worry about the end times? Is it a combination of all that? If that's the case, then it would create havoc and more disintegration of the society, of the civilization. Now, you could say to somebody, hey, it's a good idea for you to just focus on what you want. Now, the question arises, how many of us really do know what we want? The reason I share that statement is because we don't spend a lot of time on, really at all, very little time, on what we want. This is why so many people, you ask somebody, just genuinely, not a game or anything, but you're sitting down, you genuinely, through, say, heart-mindedness, not ego-mind, and you say, you ever thought about what it is you truly want in this life? And I've had the majority of people say, you know, I don't know. I've not really given that a lot of time. I haven't focused on that. There's so many other things that take my attention away from that. So we don't spend, really, a lot of time focused on what we do truly want in this life. But we do spend a lot of time. And how do I know this? Well, you know, the thousands of people I've talked with throughout the years, probably the last 50 plus years, it's a common thing. It's like, what do you focus on? And they tell me what they focus on, and it usually is, okay, not all the time, but the majority of the time, it usually is the things that they worry about, the things that concern them, that they spend a lot of time on. And, you know, it's like some of it's physical, some of it's emotional, you know, some of it's connected to happiness, sadness. It's kind of spread out. And we don't just focus on it on occasion. It seems to be front and center for the majority of the civilization. And we don't, and because we're not in the now, and we are not practicing heart-mindedness, so we're playing the role as the slave to the ego mind, which is the majority of the civilization. This is why we have what we have in this very now moment. This is why. It isn't rocket science. It's very simple. When you have a civilization in the billions that focuses mostly on the concerns, the worry, the stress, the fear, the anxiety, being ruled and guided by the ego mind, obviously it shows very clearly on this planet. The conflict, the anger, the frustration, all of these things. And I think we all know that when we do go there, because none of us are exempt from it, but when we do go there into that ego mind, there's a lot of insecurity that the ego mind has. It's probably the most insecure illusion that you'll ever come across. So it never feels safe. Always is seeking things that will help it feel safe. This is why so many of us are in that fear of what? What's the fear? Financial fear. Insecurity, not being secure, not having enough money, not being able to do this or that, or a roof over our heads, or food, or any of those things. It's a fear that is literally created by the ego mind. That's just one of them. Now, what about health? Health fears that come in. And this is combination for all of us. This is why most of us ignore health. We ignore it. We don't address it. We just say, oh, everything seems to be fine. I'm not going to go there with that. But you start adding these things one by one. And you start figuring it out. Wow. Look where my attention is going. Okay? I'm not focused on solution. I'm focused on problem. That's where most of us are on this planet. We're focused on problem and not solution. And when we focus on problem, what happens? We create more. You could have so many problems and you have a solution for them and they dissipate and they're gone. I guarantee the ego mind's going to bring in a whole slew of new ones to replace those. Now, most of us will say, well, I have a problem, right? We've all done that. You say, well, I have a problem. Okay, what's your problem? Well, it's this, 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 and this. Okay. So when you say, okay, you see you have a problem, the problem is I can't cut my grass because my mower blade is too dull and I don't have the time to sharpen them. Okay? That's the problem right there. So one might say, well, if you don't have time to sharpen that mower blade, maybe you could have somebody do it for you that specializes in sharpening mower blades. This way you wouldn't have to spend the time yourself in doing it because you really don't know how to do it, so you're afraid you might mess something up. So then you have the excuse that you don't have the time to do it. Then you find somebody who will do it. And then you pay them, and then you have a sharpened mower blade, and then you can cut your grass. That's the solution. It's just an example. But a lot of us do that, but we never really find the solution because we really don't care to be met with it. We'd rather just move, get away from it type thing. So when we're in this very now moment, the energies and frequencies that are happening on this planet are megalithic. They're absolutely massive. Well, you've got 8.5 or so billion people, and you're looking at all of the things that the entire civilization stresses about, right? Not necessarily knowing that they're stressing, creating. That's the key for us as a civilization, as gods in these bodies, is to make that connection. And this then what? Motivates us to monitor our thoughts. I'm not talking about micromanagement, I'm just saying monitor our thoughts, because we should be careful on the thoughts we put out there. This is why Buddha and all the enlightened beings throughout the ages have said, master your thoughts. Once you know what thoughts you're sending out, it's a whole different ballgame. But when it's random, mostly through the ego mind, and other people's thoughts, you're talking billions of other people's thoughts flying all over this planet. This is why we all have this mind chatter, the noise, right? And I suggest to people, they say, fine, why don't you go to some place that's you haven't been to, right? Like a little cabin or a getaway or something, not a hotel or motel, any of that stuff. And nature, and focus on just being. No cell phone, no computer, no television, nothing. Now, a lot of people go crazy because they're so habitualized in all these technologies and they can't clear the slate. So they're so clogged up. But when you do that, you find peace within. And all this other stuff, all these billions of thoughts flying around on this planet, you imagine that? We're in a soup, a thought soup, all of us. It isn't just our thoughts. It's everybody else's. It's all. You're talking about all the animals. Everything. Which is part of the God. And we have all these thoughts flying everywhere. You have fear thoughts, you've got happy thoughts, you've got hateful thoughts, you've got good, you've got that just huge conglomeration. A potpourri of thoughts. And this is why all of us have so much noise. Mind chatter, we call it, is because we haven't mastered our thoughts. And see, when we give a thought out, when you give a thought out, you in the now, in meditation, like we do in these meditations, for almost 7 years now, every day, 365 days a year for almost 7 years. And the reason we do this is so that people can find, it's very simple, it isn't complicated at all, is that you get in a comfortable place for yourself, no outside distractions. You relax into the body. It's the only way your body's going to relax, by relaxing into it. You relax into the body, you become very still, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. Just your regular breathing. You just focus on that. And you're in the now. And that mind chatter, the billions and billions of thoughts, they estimate maybe 60,000 thoughts plus per each of us. I believe it's just a conglomeration of billions of thoughts. Unending, not stopping, constant. And we're immersed in that soup. Now, do we know that? No, we don't know that. It's just kind of, part of the landscape maybe, one would say. But it's so vast, and when we begin to master our thoughts, we know exactly what we're sending out. See, it's not a guess, or it isn't unconscious or subconscious. We know what we're sending out. We know what thoughts. Now, obviously, in the beginning, you're not going to master all of them overnight, but you're doing it as halfway there. You actually doing that, you have committed to begin to master your thoughts, is halfway there. Acknowledging it. And when you yourself make that commitment, you'll find that slowly but surely that chatter starts going. It just goes away. And when you understand the source of this massive amount of thoughts running around on this planet through billions of us, you start to say, it's time that I start mastering my thoughts. So I know exactly what thought I'm putting out there. Because the acceptance and embracing of this statement, right? I am an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies. This is kind of like a mantra that you say over and over again. It's programming. You're programming yourself. And that is so much truthful. It's exact. It's exactly what we are. And while we're in these bodies, we are supreme manifestors and abundant beings. We don't get abundance. We are abundance. We don't go out and get something. We manifest something, which comes to us. It's all the opposite of what all of us have been taught throughout the ages. What do the dark forces fear the most of us? And other off-worlders. What do they fear about us? Yes, they do too. They have fear as well. What do they fear? That we'll find out about who and what we are. That's what they fear. And rather than us focusing on things, right, like what? Oh, we've got things like the ice wall, and we've got, is the earth flat or is it not flat? Who cares? Do we really care? Is that significant? No, it's not. What's significant? what we're doing in this very now moment, period. What we're focused on. Literally, without a shadow of a doubt, believing that who and what we are omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. And that we carry a power that could totally transform this planet. Very quickly. But see, through diversity, we're so splintered off in so many directions, there isn't any unity. Knowing that we're all one. Treating each other as we would treat ourselves. Doing to others as we would have done unto us. That's part of the unity. Having full trust, confidence, and faith in ourselves and the universe. This is how the planet changes. Yet there's things, right, that can be applied, which we've experienced lifetime after lifetime on this planet, but they don't last. You ever notice that? They're there for a period of time, but they don't last. They usually fade out. You know, you got dark times and you've got light times, and then you go back to dark times and then you go back to light times. You look throughout the existence of civilizations on this planet, and you'll see that. Why is that? Because we haven't accepted the responsibility of who and what we are, nor do we understand or comprehend what that is. So when that happens, this is why we have ebb and tide. We have things come in, and we have things leave. Right? So everybody right now is looking for what? Bliss and happiness and joy and the release of evil, the elimination of darkness as an influence on the planet. Now, we don't know who and what we are for the most part. How long will that last? It's true. You can just search your heart and you'll know that to be true. This is why that occurs. Now, as God's in the body and us discovering who and what we are, and practicing more and more of heart-mindedness, we begin to comprehend the true power that is housed within each and every one of us. And also, our mastership of manifestation is front and center. We shift everything through high vibrational frequencies. If you take the two words, love, hate, you can feel the difference. You feel the difference in those two words. Love, hate. You can feel the difference just by saying it. So our direction has always been what? Love. Love for ourselves and love for all things. But if we're hung up with the ego mind and we aren't aware of it, we won't have that. We will be tied up with all kinds of distractions throughout this life, and then we'll leave the body, which has happened numerous times throughout the ages. And when you're heart-minded, you begin to embrace what? You begin to self-govern yourself. You govern yourself. What does that mean? You direct yourself. You love yourself. You forgive yourself. And you stay in the now so there's no judgment of yourself or others or anything outside of you. And you exist in a pool of bliss. The bliss comes from the God within us. This is the makeup of the energetic frequency, the happiness, the joy, the contentment, the slowness. None of it is anything like we are living or experiencing right now, because that's material physical world. Isn't there always something that comes into the picture for any of us? Isn't there always something? It doesn't have to be catastrophic, but and then when that one leaves, another one comes in. Where does that come from? You're like, where does that come from? It comes from the ego mind. Ego mind's constantly conjuring things and sending them in. And we're moving away from ego-mindedness. That is one of the biggest steps. Excuse me. It's one of the biggest steps into what? Our evolution, our spiritual evolution. It isn't about what, it's moving away from, it's not about what we have. It's about who and what we are. We're moving away from material physical in the comprehension that we reside in the heart and not the head. We stay out of the head. And we float. Yeah, you can see yourself floating in water, right? You're just floating. You're not thinking anything. Nothing. Okay? You're in the now. Now you hear, you don't even have to look, you hear all this splashing and groaning and heavy breathing and movement of the water, and you feel just countless beings swimming for all get out constantly by you. Do they know where they're going? No, they don't know where they're going. The point is, do you know where you're going? Yeah. The now. That's it. That's where I'm at. That's where I wish to stay. All this other stuff is gone. Doesn't exist. It really gives you and that body you're in a big, huge break. A release, so to speak. And when you look around at things, the first thing you do is you say, what is it that I want in this life? Without guilt, okay? Without feeling that you don't deserve it. That's all ego mind. That's all the social structure of this planet. By embracing it 100% fully. Saying to yourself, I deserve the best of everything. Not ego-minded, heart-minded. And you do. There's no doubt about that at all. And the only reason that we are all not having the lives that we desire, right, experiencing, is because we do not believe. We don't believe. It's easier for us to believe in the caustic, rough, irritating, anything that comes in that's like, well, that's just a fantasy. Nobody has that kind of life. That's just not natural. And actually, it is. Yet so few of us even come close to experiencing it. And it's practice, because it is. It is difficult, though, because we don't know it, but most of us are immersed in what we don't want. It's how we've been trained. That's all. It's just how we've been trained. And that's where our thinking's at. And that's where our belief mechanisms are at. And that's why we have limitations. And that's why we don't believe that anything is possible. We put these limitations on ourselves due to the training that we have received just in this lifetime. And continue to receive it. And the phenomenal thing about it is that when you can identify that, you're halfway there. Just to identify it, to say, this exists. This is what's going on. Do I want to be a part of it? No, I don't care to be a part of it. Not really. And so you're not upset. You're not coming down on yourself. You're just very kind. You say, I'm not interested in that. So what am I interested in? Peace, happiness, joy, bliss. Love. See, when you deeply love yourself, then you'll be able to love everything else. This is a process that throughout the ages, many of us have tried different ways. We've gone at different ways. Gotten some areas here and there. But it goes right to the core, the nucleus, of who and what you are. It's about you. It isn't about anybody else. It's not about your loved ones. It's not about anybody outside of you. It is only about you. That's the key. Most of us sidestep that, and so we partake in material physical world and the ego mind. What's the opposite of the material physical world, ego mind? Heart-mindedness, the now. You'd be amazed on how things just melt away. You say to somebody, you should practice dying every day. Well, they'd freak out, wouldn't they? What? Are you crazy? That's an intention. You're manifesting your own death. No, you're not. You're releasing and surrendering yourself every day. You die and then you're reborn. You die, you're reborn. You die, you're reborn. You die, you're reborn. What does that do? You become aware that when the time does come for you to exit the body, it won't be a big deal. It will be like taking off your socks. What's the real big deal? What is it? The real big deal is acknowledging and comprehending that we are an omnipotently powerful, manifesting, abundant, supreme being that never dies. It's in these bodies. We are all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And believe it or not, we're here to enjoy the life, experience, perfect more. We're already divine perfection, but we can go different levels of divine perfection. And that's it, experience. And then we leave, and then we figure out what we want to do after that life. Nobody figures it out for you. We do. And whether we acknowledge it or not is another thing. So in the quiet time of this meditation, it really is all about you. You deserve the best of everything. So does everybody else. Peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, joy. All those things you already are. I join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and then easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on the breath rising and falling. You do not have to ask for what you want. It's not absolutely necessary that you ask for what your heart truly desires in your life. This universe already knows every thought that you're thinking. You just need to stop thinking about whatever you don't want and only imagine what you do want. That's all you need to change. When you do this one thing, this one little thing, you'll find this universe is replying to each desire you have with the words, as you wish. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning really believing that you're a super magical and ridiculously powerful manifesting being. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here tonight for the Time for Change call. Wednesday, December 11th, 2024, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. And Thursday, December 12th, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.